Okay, wrestling fans, welcome back. Broadway Danny Wolf here, just seconds before our score match of the week. I have with me here Eddie Marlin. Eddie, you'll be going against Tommy Gilbert tonight on the score match of the week. It's come to this, a cowboy boot match. You'll be coming into the ring with cowboy boots, and you can take them off and use them on one another. Tell me about it.
Yeah, Dan, back several years ago, Tommy Gilbert and I was partners, and we were like brothers, I thought. I left the ring and went into promotions, and a few weeks ago, I was at the ringside. Tommy Gilbert's son had a match, and Tommy nailed me. A couple of times recently, he's took off his boot, and he's busted my head open, so I figured if it's going to be fair for Tommy, let it be fair for me. So tonight, we both go in the ring with cowboy boots on, and like you say, it's legal to take them off and use them, and I just hope I can get to Tommy Gilbert tonight.
Okay, let's go to the ring with all the action.
Use it as a weapon, it's legal, but he cannot put it back on. He cannot put that boot back on, and then he will only have one boot to take off. Already gashed open. Now referee. Very unusual FNN score match of the week. Danny Wolf right here at ringside with us. And Danny, this is a cowboy boot match, and you just don't see many of these.
No, you don't. FNN Score is proud to present it. You know, a lot of other wrestling federations and alliances won't show you this kind of match on television, but FNN Score will, and this has got the makings of being a very bloody affair, Lance.
Yeah, it really does. And let me tell you one of the interesting things about it. In this kind of a match, the winner is determined not by a pin, but whoever can get both boots off of his opponent. Now, one of the interesting sidelights to it is the fact that a wrestler can elect by strategy to pull one of his own boots off and use it, but he cannot put that boot back on. Then his opponent has only one boot to get off.
That's right. And I want to tell you something, Lance. Getting hit with the toe, one of these cowboy boots, is not like getting hit with the Air Jordan tennis shoes. You're going to bleed if you get hit by one of these toes.
And I got to tell you, and they can use them any way they choose to. Now, Tommy Gilbert, Eddie Marlin both have their boots on. Gilbert in the short wrestling tights, and Eddie Marlin in the longer, older style tights. Look at Marlin. He puts Gilbert down on the canvas, wraps his leg around the rope, trying to pull that left boot off of there so that he'll have the opportunity to get a leg up. One boot won't do it, but that's at least a start.
Yes, it is. They're both, in fact, going for each other's boots right now. Tommy's got a hold of Eddie Marlin's. In fact, Marlin is already bleeding a little bit. You catch it, Lance.
Yeah, Gilbert nailed him as he climbed through the ropes really before the bell rang. It kind of went simultaneous, and Eddie just wiping the blood out of his eye as he is working on the other leg of Tommy Gilbert. Gilbert reaches up and rakes across the eyes, and Marlin leaning out. Now it's Gilbert going for that left boot.
And Marlin pulls him right back, and now he's got Gilbert down. Hey, Lance, these two have been going at it for a long time. Last week they had a Tennessee street fight match, and there's no end in sight to these two.
And a lot of people on FNN Score may not know that at one time, Eddie is retired now. He's 57 years old, makes no bones about it. He is not a wrestler and all, but he was forced back into action by Tommy. Tommy Gilbert and Eddie Marlin held the AWA Southern Tag Team titles for a long spell. Over a 3-year period, they held a look. One boot is off. Marlin out in front.
And there he is. Hits him in the stomach with the bottom of the boot. Gilbert is down. He's feeling it right in his chest. And Marlin definitely in control right now, Lance.
Lance Russell and Danny Wolf at ringside in the Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, Tennessee. Marlin just nailed Gilbert right in the head with a boot again, and his head is busted open. It is legal. You notice the referee, Frank Morrell, makes no effort to break it up because in this kind of a match, it is legal. That's why it's so unusual. Marlin has him bleeding. He threw the boot out of the way so that it can't be involved from Gilbert's standpoint.
Well, you can say he's kind of 1 foot up right now. Both men bleeding pretty badly. Marlin's got him in the corner. He's in full control right now.
One thing Eddie can do, woo, and Eddie hurt his hand. He wrapped him with his knuckle. Gilbert fell flat on his face. but Eddie hurt that right hand. Eddie has very large hands on him. This son of a gun, you talking about hams, he's got a couple of hams hanging off of him, and when he pops you, he can really pop you. Now it's Marlin climbing down on the floor, grabs Gilbert, has his head at that metal railing, slams it on the railing.
I tell you, Marlin, for his age, is as tough as they come, Lance.
Eddie may have stopped wrestling, but he never stopped fighting. Nobody in the world will ever get this guy to stop fighting. He's just somebody that I've become very fond of over the years, remembering Eddie way back, and at one time was a close friend of Tommy Gilbert, but now the friends have parted company and ways, but meet again in a combat that sees both of them bleeding profusely.
That's for sure, Lance. Gilbert really having no control of the match so far. Again, Marlin has gotten one of his boots off.
Danny's working on that other boot, but Gilbert kicked his way loose, and the referee's trying to get him back in the ring. Gilbert got loose. Here he is around to the side as Marlin tracks him down over at that metal railing, slams his head into the steps leading up into the ring, and Gilbert takes a header onto the concrete.
Gilbert's losing a lot of blood right now. It looks like he can't keep his balance very well either, Lance. He's stumbling around on one boot there, coming our way.
Boy, look out, because this one could end up anywhere. Gilbert swinging wildly. Marlin was behind him, but Gilbert, I think, is blinded somewhat by the blood. Whoa, he nailed Eddie Marlin in the midsection, doubled Eddie over with that right hand, bangs Eddie with another right and puts him on the concrete.
You made a good point, Lance, and the blood gets in your eyes. It can blind you, and that seems to be a problem with Tommy Gilbert a little bit right now, and he's going to take one of Marlin's boots off.
Working on that left boot, and Marlin slammed him with his foot head first right into that metal railing. Oh, man. Marlin back up. Eddie still has both boots on, Danny.
Yeah, he's still one up. Boy, the blood is flying at ringside, Lance, I'll tell you. Woo!
Gilbert didn't even see the chair that is over in that corner for anybody who has a manager. He stumbled straight over it head first, and now Marlin kicked back down by a savage, trapped Tommy Gilbert. Gilbert just lashing out even when there's nobody there, trying to find something that'll give himself a little leg up. Oh, he's trying to wipe the blood out of his eyes now.
Yeah, it keeps dripping into his eye. Marlin in full control, not bleeding half as bad as Gilbert. Oh, a boot to the midsection. And remember, these toes are sharp, Lance.
He may have it right here. All he has to do is to be able to get it the rest of the way off. He wins the match when both boots are off the opponent. Remember that. It is not a pin, but Gilbert popping him in the kidney now as he lays down, raises up, brings the strength around to bust him in the kidney. Eddie Marlin still pulling. He can't get it quite off. He's about 8 inches away from victory over Tommy Gilbert. And Tommy Gilbert now rolling over to take the leg away. Marlin going to set him up again. He does, Danny.
Yeah, he's in full control so far almost to the whole match, Lance. He's going again for the boot. It's only a matter of inches before he takes his boot off and wins the match. And Gilbert is hanging on the ropes. And he got it! He got it!
Eddie Marlin in 7 minutes, 30 seconds is the winner. Gilbert started after him, and he drew that boot back. He got the victory. Eddie Marlin, 57 years old or not, showed he can still fight. And what a warrior, Eddie!
I knew if I tried long enough, I could do it.
Gilbert from behind, nails him with powder right in the eyes, slams Eddie right back into the metal rail. He catches his back on that metal railing, Danny.
Sure, he's about to do it again. Watch out, Lance, right in front of us here. The blood is flying everywhere.
Eddie Marlin had his back slammed. The bout is officially over in 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Gilbert now putting boots on, blood still pouring down Gilbert's head. He grabs Marlin, throws him back up in the ring. The bout is officially over, Danny, but the battle goes on.
And Gilbert put one of his boots back on, so he plans on using it. The toe is bloody, if you can see it even, Lance, right on Gilbert's boot. He's going up to the rope. Climbing on the third rope.
He caught him in the small of the back. 7 minutes, 30 seconds. The winner on our FNN Score Match of the Week is Eddie Marlin.